Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and get started with our luncheon. I'd like to welcome everybody out to our March Chamber Luncheon. We are bringing in some great crowds to ring in 2026. This is very exciting. First and foremost, I'd like to ask Associate Pastor Leighton Levy from First Baptist Church of Somerset to please come forward and bless today's event.
What a gift this is to the community and business leaders. Can you join me in saying a special thanks to the Chamber for organizing and facilitating this event? Absolutely. Let us pray together. Lord, we are thankful for so much. We appreciate the gift that you've given us and the opportunity to network and to facilitate, to connect with, and to see where you're at work in our community. And Lord, pray that we would continue to walk in grace and wisdom in a way that would honor you. And Lord, pray that this would be a blessing as we meet and gather today and hear encouragement. And more than anything, Lord, we recognize that we need your wisdom and we need your love. And pray that we would continue to be people who would walk according to your truth and grace and exalt you in all that we say and do. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Everybody said? Amen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sure do appreciate that, Leighton. We have one 2 for Tuesday today. And we've allocated a little bit of time to hear from our friend Melissa Estep. She's going to be talking not about Skyhope today, kind of. She's going to be talking about the Pulaski County Housing Coalition. So Melissa, you want to come on up? You got all the time. What do you 5 minutes? You got time. You're good. Hey, deep breath. You're going to be fine.
Yeah, I'm Melissa. And I'm usually with Skyhope, but today I'm not. I'm representing a whole different branch that I was thrown into a couple of years ago. And I wish Leighton had went a little bit longer because I wasn't done breathing 5 deep breaths to deal with my anxiety. 2 years ago, we were challenged in a mental health mapping by Judge Vanover and the Judicial Committee to take a look at some issues within our community. And after we did 3-4 different sessions of intense learning and collaborating and networking, we branched off into small groups. Well, our group happened to be the smallest and most challenging because that was the housing piece, of which we all know is desperately needed across the nation. So I chose the hard part, the part I didn't know much about. I know about recovery, but housing I didn't, so I jumped into the waters of unknown territory, and that's where the learning happens. And so after 2 years, I ended up becoming the leader. Don't know how that happened, but it did. And I didn't know what I was doing, but I was swimming with the current. We invited several people to our meetings that met once a month, and we learned about different aspects of the housing. And then I came to a standing point that I didn't know where we were going to go. And in walks this human packing his Mary Poppins backpack, Lauren Levins, into Skyhope Recovery Center. And he carries a bag full of technology and language I did not know. But the one piece that he said is, I'm here to help my community and I want to help people. And he plopped down his bag and we went to work. So he is a mastermind in technology, website building, knowledge base. And we put together, I had ideas. I can come up with ideas, and he makes them work. So we come up with this website called Pulaski County Housing Coalition. And over the past year, he's worked on it, and I have. And this is not just a website to advertise. It's a free website for our community to list your rental property. But it's not just rental property speaking about housing. It's about places that people have special needs that they need to find. So on social media, That's where the idea kind of came, was people that are new in our community, they need help, they want to know in the direction of where to find housing, apartments, so they just post a post on Facebook and hope somebody answers. Well, this was birthed out of that piece. People can go to this site and they can look for residential housing, they can look for apartments, they can look for transitional living, sober living, senior citizens living, senior citizens home. And then they can also look at, what can I afford? I only have $700 that I can afford, and there'll be filters throughout this PC website. So for people out there that have rental property, can send an email to this website and list their property. We have a display over here in the corner, and Lauren can walk you through the technicalities of the website. But you, as a person that has rental property, can send an email and you can log your own, upload your own rental properties. You can put in there whether you are allowed pet friendly, are you judicial friendly, what your deposits are. So people are just not constantly searching. Here's your answers. People from out of state, as our tourism is starting to really take off, if they're out of state, hey, I'm retiring, I'm from Arizona, and I'm moving to Somerset. Where can I find a place to rent until I can find a home? They can go to this website and they can go through the filters and make the contact that they need that suits their needs. So this was what was birthed. It is free for our community. Lauren wanted to help people, so he used his skills and his expertise to help everyone. We've met with the mayor, we have met with the judge executive and the chamber, and we have their support. And like I said, this is a free service for everyone that they can get on and make this accessible to anyone, even coming out of incarceration. Where can they go? We have some demo listings on here because we didn't want to put up a preferential or feel like we were picking one over the other. But we hope that you all get on here, log on, and spread the word so that the more information we have on this website, the more people we can help and reach. Now, additional piece to this is just not a listing. There's another piece in this portal that is called the knowledge base. So somebody struggles with, how do I build a home, or how do I purchase a home? There's going to be all kinds of websites and listings and information to where you can educate yourself, or they can educate themselves on how to get where they're going when it comes to housing. So there's a knowledge base to this, and we hope that eventually it'll grow into capturing some data to where that we know where our next step is going to be. So this is our final project from the mental health mapping piece, and we hope that you all will help us help others in our community. That's all I have.
Thank you, Melissa. It's an exciting project. So, information tables. Anybody who's new or maybe hasn't heard this before, or if you have, I'm going to encourage you to check them out anyway. So we have information tables here with us today. This is a free service that we provide for our members to learn a little bit more about our community. I would encourage everybody here, if I have one ask today, please take the time on your way out to go find an information table, somebody that you don't know anything about their business, and learn a little bit more about how they're impacting our business community with their services. I'd like to recognize all those info tables at this point. So today we've got Hendrickson, The Job Shop, WTLO Fork Broadcasting, Western Kentucky University Workforce Recruitment, Girl Scout Troop 2319. Where's my Girl Scouts at? Where are they at? Where are they at? Okay, it's cookie season, so Everybody's got $6 in their pocket, so I want everybody to walk out of here with some cookies. This is my daughter's troop, by the way, so I would go out back there and shamelessly, let's buy some cookies and let's help out those young ladies. Recon Air, Expressions Tea and Gifts, Technical Solutions, American Legion Post 38, Ryan Collett, State Farm, Pulaski County Humane Society, Cora Physical Therapy, Toshiba Business Solutions, Bluegrass Marble and Granite, ABC 36, WTVQ, Inspiration IT, Home Court Movies, Slim Chickens, United Way of South Central Kentucky, Pulaski County Housing Coalition, Lifeline Home Care, and Goodwill of Somerset. Let's give them all a big round of applause. This month, we'd also like to recognize Madison Spurlock as the iHeartRadio Somerset and Citizens National Bank Student of the Month. Madison is the current 2026 Vice President for the school's FBLA Club and the expected President for 2027. Wow, no pressure there, huh? Madison, please go ahead. I think I see you standing back there. Let's give her a big round of applause. Thank you for being here with us. Okay, I have one more shameless plug. Our Shamrock Shuffle, our 14th annual Shamrock Shuffle 5K Run Walk is going to be coming up on Saturday, March 14th. We are moving. We're over 450 already pre-registered. I had 70 last night, so we're cooking on the race this year. We should have over 700 again this year. We're ahead of last year's numbers. This is a lot of fun. It's incredibly dog-friendly. Bring out a stroller, bring the kids. The one thing I love, the fastest kid in town before the races start, those are the best. If you want to see something awesome, watch 3- and 4-year-olds doing a 50-yard dash. You don't know where they're going. Some of them are going forward, some are going back. It's fantastic. But the fastest kid in town races are always a lot of fun. And then we have our 5K that starts at 10 o'clock that morning in downtown Somerset. If you just want to get out and get a little exercise, come out and join us, have a little fun. It's an awesome race, and it's actually turned out to be a pretty good fundraiser for the Chamber. So again, that's on Saturday, March 14th, downtown Somerset, 10 a.m. With that, I'm going to turn things over to my boss, Chamber President this year, Dr. Bruce Gover.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's great to see a big crowd again here today. I want to thank you all so much for that. We talked a little bit about this at the banquet, asking people to attend additional luncheons or attend additional chamber events and help us out. And you're doing that. So this is a great crowd. Appreciate you being here today. So with that, I'd like to welcome all our guests, all our public officials, all their representatives, and our members that are here. We couldn't do any of this without our sponsors, as you all know. Those sponsors that are listed on the wall behind me, also on your tables. And I would just like to call attention to a couple of new sponsors we have, but our recognition of our world-class sponsors as always. Thank you all for everything that you do for us. A recognition of our Chairman Circle sponsors. As you can see those, we're gonna have to talk to Lonnie and Laura about expanding the wall back through here. It's good. It's really good. So. We've got a couple of new Chairman Circle sponsors this month. I'd just like to welcome Ashli Furniture and Home Store and Lifeline Home Care. So thank you all for joining and participating at that level. And our recognition of our Ambassador Circle sponsors. And our new Ambassador Circle sponsor is Baptist Health Corbin. So thank you all. There's so much goes into everything that we do at the Chamber, and we're always leaving somebody out. I think if it takes a lot of folks to bring things together like what we're doing here today. And we have always relied on Lonnie Lawson, the Center for Rural Development, for providing this space to us, and we thank you so much for that. We thank Sassy Spoon Catering for the lunch that you always provide, Coca-Cola Bottling of Somerset and Pepsi-Cola Bottling of Somerset. We sincerely appreciate you as well. At this point, I would like to call up William Hunt, we're going to recognize our new chamber members of this month. So, William.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I hope you'll join me today as we welcome the newest members to our chamber. If you're here today, as I read off the name of your business and your name, would you please rise so we can give you the recognition you deserve? First is Apple Red Legal Aid, Amber Shoemake. Thank you for being here. CR Cards, Corey Ryan. Don't see Corey, so we'll go on. Cumberland Social LLC, Bruce Hall. Edward Jones, Chuck Sobiak. Lake Cumberland Fasteners, Gina Riggs. There's Gina. Thank you. LT's Fireworks, Tammy Payne and Layman Hubbs. Pretty Pets Grooming, Reagan and Casey Catron. Pulaski County Conservation District, Samantha Hale. All right, several. Thank you all. Recon Air, Jeff Ward. Back here in the back. Splatter and Glaze, Ann Sterling and Ronnie Gleeden. Stixworks LLC, Joe Church. The Posh Locker, Amanda Brock. Thank you. And last is Toshiba Business Solutions, Taylor Hurt. I'm back in the back. Let's give them all one big hand for everybody that joined this month. Thank you.
And at this point, I would like to ask if you're a chamber ambassador, if you'd please stand so we can show you our appreciation for all you do for us. As many of you all know, these folks work tirelessly to help the chamber, and we couldn't do what we do without you all, so thank you very much. I would like to recognize one ambassador of the month, who is actually the ambassador of the month, and I would ask Rosemary Bray to please come forward. Congratulations, Rosemary. I'd also like to thank today's lunch sponsors, the Job Shop and Hendrickson. And we're going to ask Caitlin Baker from the Job Shop if you will come forward.
Hello, everyone. So those of you that do not know, my name is Caitlin Baker, and I am the Business Development Manager for the Job Shop here in Somerset. Today, we are celebrating a milestone that means so much to us. We are celebrating 40 years of connecting people with opportunities and supporting the businesses here in this community. Over the last 4 decades, we have had the honor of working with over 125,000 employees and partnering with over 2,000 customers right here in this community. These are the people and organizations who have trusted us with their goals, their teams, and their futures. Every relationship, every placement, and every success story has shaped who we are today. This anniversary is a moment to reflect on the dedication of our staff, the loyalty of our clients, and the countless individuals who have allowed us to be a part of their career journeys. We are truly grateful for each of you. As we celebrate this milestone, we are excited to share a video that not only highlights where we've been, but also outlines what we do and the impact we strive to make every single day. So you'll just enjoy our 40-year anniversary video.
In 1986, a local family started a journey with a simple goal: to connect people with opportunity. For 4 decades, the Job Shop has been the heartbeat of staffing in Kentucky and Tennessee. Much has changed since those early days, but our mission remains the same. From our locations in London and Somerset, we've helped businesses find the right people and helped job seekers find employment to suit their specific skills. In 2012, we joined the Impact Employment Solutions family, becoming part of a powerful network of staffing brands that spans the United States and Canada. Together with our sister companies, MedPlus Staffing, Technical Staffing Solutions, Liberty Staffing USA, AccuStaff, and IES, we offer local expertise backed by national strength. This unified approach provides our partners with unmatched reach, resources, and flexibility. We specialize in light industrial, skilled trades, logistics, manufacturing, and clerical staffing, providing solutions that meet today's hiring demands. We don't just move fast to fill roles, we move with purpose to ensure every placement is a meaningful connection. But our greatest strength isn't a process, it's our people. Our internal team of HR professionals is the engine behind our success. We are proud to house true veterans of the industry with over 100 years of combined experience in staffing. We truly have the talent to do more. Our commitment doesn't end at the office door. As active members of the Southeastern Kentucky Society of Human Resource Management, local chambers, and civic organizations, we believe in the power of community. Whether we are sponsoring youth sports, assisting school resource centers, or standing by our neighbors during tornado and flood recovery, we are dedicated to helping our communities thrive. Our mission is to create meaningful connections between employers and job seekers, helping businesses grow and people thrive. 40 years of service, 40 years of integrity. The Job Shop is your trusted workforce partner. Local connections, national strength, proven results.
Thank you for taking the time to celebrate 40 years with us. We're proud to serve this community, and we appreciate each one of you for being part of our story. If you have questions or want to learn more about how we can support your business, or even just grab some Job Shop merch, we'd love to see you at the back table. Thank you.
Thanks, Caitlin. Thank you, the Job Shop, for being a lunch sponsor and everything you do for our community. At this point, I would like to ask Clayton Taylor from Hendrickson to come forward.
Hello, everyone. Hopefully, I don't get this mic too close here. That's a hard act to follow. That was really good. So, hello, everyone. My name is Clayton Taylor. I'm with Hendrickson. I'm a production manager at Hendrickson. I would like to take a second to say thank you to Bobby and the Chamber for all they do, from hosting this awesome Luncheon, which combines two of my favorite things, free and food, bringing businesses and community together, and committing to growing our community and its leaders with programs like Leadership Lake Cumberland. I know most people here probably have heard of Hendrickson, but don't know exactly what we do, right? A lot of the times you will hear out there Hendrickson, and the first thing somebody will say is semi-trucks. You got part of the answer right. But I have a brief video that we will go through, and it will give you a more in-detail look at what we do at Hendrickson.
Here, a series of firsts that have inspired and changed the landscape of the commercial vehicle industry. Beginning in 1926 with the first walking beam tandem truck suspension, to 1995 when Hendrickson launched Intrax, the industry's first fully integrated top-mount air suspension axle brake system. The Intrax AAT-23K solidified Hendrickson's status as a leader in innovative ride solutions. And this was just the beginning of the evolution of Intrax. The addition of drum brake wheel ends in 1997 enhanced the Intrax product lineup, offering versatility for customers with varying equipment needs. Within 5 years, Hendrickson launched the lightweight AANT-23K. The AANT-23K incorporates tapered beam technology with the narrow trifunctional 3 bushing for increased axle stiffness, improved durability, and reduced weight. In 2001, Hendrickson's cam tube system became standard. Its patented design helps improve cam life and reduce maintenance costs. The following year brought changes to Intrax's air spring pedestal design, improving both strength and durability. Over the next 4 years, Hendrickson introduced a series of engineering innovations to the Intrax product line, starting with the Intrax raised center axle. The raised center model reduces weight by 100 pounds and further increases the versatility of the Intrax product line. Next, the 5 3/4 inch large diameter axle was introduced. Large diameter axles trim weight compared to 5-inch axles and increase bending and torsional stiffness for enhanced durability, greater roll stability, and reduced deflection under load. Hendrickson further diversified this expanding product line with the integration of air disc brake technology and the introduction of the underbeam lift system. UBL offers benefits like increased operational flexibility, improved tire life, and increased maneuverability. TireMax CP launched in 2007. The TireMax CP uses a straightforward mechanical design with no pressure switches, electronics, or transducers, and continuously monitors tire pressure without pressurizing the axle or wheel ends. 2008 marked the launch of Intrax AANL. The AANL model integrates a tapered beam and large diameter axle design for superior weight savings and durability for liftable and low-ride applications. 1 year later, Hendrickson's extended life 7-year ready-to-roll wheel end packages are introduced. Building on Hendrickson's engineering and manufacturing expertise, HXL7 wheel ends feature high-performance components and boast a 7-year limited warranty. This same year, Hendrickson made galvanized coating available on Intrax components like frame brackets and air spring mounting plates. This premium zinc-rich coating offers improved chip resistance and superior corrosion resistance. In 2010, the integration of large diameter axles on wide pivot top mount models further enhanced durability and weight savings for heavier duty applications. 2012 marked the launch of TireMax Pro, an advanced automatic tire pressure control system for the trailer industry that addresses both under and overinflated tire conditions. TireMax Pro equalizes pressure at every tire, helping improve tire life and fuel mileage. In 2013, the HXL3 and HXL5 wheel end packages joined the ready-to-roll family. These wheel end packages, along with HXL7, feature the patented precision nut system, which allows for ultra-precise bearing adjustment. With this innovative two-piece system, bearings are set and controlled at a slight preload condition, elevating bearing and seal performance beyond traditional levels. This same year, large diameter axles became standard on all AAL models, which increased durability and decreased weight for the heavy-duty, low-ride liftable market. Hendrickson also introduced Extreme Coat brake coating technology in 2013. Designed for applications where extreme environmental changes can increase the likelihood of rust jacking, Extreme Coat is specially formulated to withstand the toughest corrosive environments. For over 100 years, Hendrickson has been a leading innovator and manufacturer of suspension systems and components for the global commercial vehicle industry. Our legacy for designing cutting-edge ride solutions continues today and into the future with the road-proven and reliable Intrax, the industry's first integrated axle beam brake system. Hendrickson, solutions through innovation.
All right, so I don't know if that got everybody as fired up as what I am right now, but always love seeing that. So that is just a small overview of what goes on at Hendrickson in Pulaski County. One thing I would like to mention that we do really well that isn't mentioned in the video is growing leaders and promoting team members within our company. To give you a little look at leadership structure, we have 7 managers, 14 supervisors, 28 line leads, and 42 trainers in our plant. And only one of those positions was filled by an external applicant. So when someone is looking for a company that they can make a career out of, Hendrickson will invest in each team member, from college tuition reimbursement, pension plan, to always posting positions internally before looking for external applicants. With that being said, Hendrickson is currently hiring, and we are looking for the next team members that we can grow, invest in, and make a member of the world's best tractor trailer suspension manufacturing group. That statement isn't an opinion, it is a fact. Hendrickson is the largest tractor trailer suspension manufacturer in the world, and out of all the facilities across the world, right here in Pulaski County, outshines the rest of them. Our team members here are truly at the world's best at what they do. If you would like more information, please go see our awesome HR group that's posted in the back. I'm sure there will be a line next to our Girl Scout cookies back here, so while you're waiting on your Girl Scout cookies, make sure you stop by our table. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Clayton, and thanks, Hendrickson, for all that you all do for our community. It amazes me, if you ever get the chance to participate in our Leadership Lake Cumberland program, and I encourage you to do so. That's the first time I ever got to see Hendrickson up close and personal on that tour. That's been several years ago. Those stories, just like Hendrickson, just like the job shop, are here in this room, and a lot of times we don't see those things. So I encourage you to get involved with those opportunities when they're available. We do some really amazing things here in this community, and as you can see from what we've seen right there. But thank you all again for being our lunch sponsors today. Appreciate that very much. Now it's my pleasure to introduce our special guest speaker for today. We're excited to host the Kentucky Chamber of Commerce president today, Ashli Watts, as our guest speaker. Ashli Watts was named the president and CEO for the Kentucky Chamber of Commerce, which is the state's largest business association, in November of 2019. Ashli joined the Kentucky Chamber of Commerce in November of 2012, and during her tenure as Senior Vice President of Public Affairs at the Chamber, she led efforts in passing significant pieces of legislation such as felony expungement in 2016, right-to-work legislation in 2017, workers' compensation reform in 2018, and reinstating arbitration agreements in 2019. Prior to joining the Chamber, she worked at the Kentucky Bar Association and the Legislative Research Commission. Ashli graduated from Campbellsville University with a bachelor's degree in political science and history in 2004, and holds a master's degree in public policy and administration from the University of Louisville. She currently serves on the boards for Campbellsville University, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, National Association of State Chambers, and the Louisville Orchestra. Ashli was appointed by Governor Andy Beshear and confirmed by the Kentucky State Senate to serve on the Energy Planning and Inventory Commission, where she was also elected chair in 2025. In August 2025, she served as the first female MC of the Fancy Farm Picnic. She currently resides in Frankfort with her husband Ryan and her 2 children. Will you all please join me in giving her a warm welcome back to the Somerset-Pulaski County Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you, and good afternoon. Thank you guys for that warm welcome. And I guess I'll just point when I want to go to the next slide. Perfect. Do you guys have that little app on your phone, like the time hop that shows where you are every year? So I was just telling someone 4 years ago I was here, and 6 years ago I was here. So this date must be the date that I am coming to always to the Somerset Chamber of Commerce. I could not be more thrilled to be here to visit with a lot of my friends here and see so many familiar faces. The state chamber, we're so proud to be partners with the Somerset Chamber. You guys probably know in Kentucky we have about 100 local chambers of commerce, and this is one of my favorite parts of my job, is being able to travel around the state and meet with local chambers. And I just want to say thank you all for being involved in your local chamber. It always amazes me when I travel the state and see how many people are involved with their local chambers and take time out of their day and away from their business to really support their local chambers. So thank you for supporting your local chamber of commerce and coming to this lunch today. You all are well represented at the Kentucky Chamber of Commerce. Bobby and I have been have been friends for many years. He serves on our board. Stephen Lee with Hinkle Construction is on our board as well. He's actually in Frankfurt today, which is why he couldn't be here. Steve Merrick has been on our board for many years, and my good friend Chris Girdler serves on our Center for Policy and Research board. So Somerset is well represented in the work that we do in Frankfurt and across the state. So I always like to kind of start, before I kind of dive into what's going on in Washington and in Frankfurt, a little bit about the Kentucky Chamber of Commerce. So we are the state's largest business association, and we want to make sure that we are your eyes, your ears, and your voice in Frankfurt and in Washington, D.C., while you are here in Somerset running your business, serving your community, taking care of your employees. And so that is really our task. We love and support all of our local chambers of commerce, and we want to make sure that we are your advocates in Frankfurt and Washington, D.C., while you guys are running your businesses in your hometowns. So today, I'm going to talk a little bit about what's going on in Washington, D.C. on a national level, a little bit about the state's economy. Whenever I travel the state, people always say, how's the economy? So I'm going to go into a little bit about that. And then we are right kind of smack dab in the middle, kind of on the other side of it a little bit, of the state legislative session that's going on in Frankfurt right now. So I'll give you guys a little bit of an update of what's going on there, and I'll be happy to take any questions as well. So we can go to the next slide. So the federal level. So I would say over the last year, I've probably spent just as much time talking about what's going on a federal level and in Washington, D.C. as I have on the state level. And that's pretty typical. Anytime there is a change in federal administration, priorities change, issues change, and that has obviously proven to be true over the last year with President Trump and the new federal administration. Aside from everything going on in the news right now with foreign conflicts, I did want to bring up a couple of things that have really touched the business community, and just wanted to make sure that you guys know that we are working on behalf of you all, and obviously make sure that there's the communication open as well if you guys have any interest in any of these issues. The first thing I like to say is we've spent a lot of time in the Kentucky Chamber the last year talking about tariffs. So tariffs have been a big part of this presidential administration's platform. Here in Kentucky, we are a state that relies very heavily on manufacturing, on agriculture, and on bourbon. Those three industries have been hit negatively because of the tariffs. And so we want to make sure that we are in close communication with our federal delegation. I see my good friend Donna here from Senator McConnell's office. We keep in close contact with Congressman Rogers just to make sure that they know what's really happening kind of on the ground. What I like to say over the last year, when you hear kind of about these big policy issues of, the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which was very beneficial to Kentucky businesses, or tariffs, we always like to make sure that these big kind of picture issues, that they're localized, that we know how they're impacting people on Main Street here in Somerset and all across Kentucky. And here in Kentucky, we know that the cost on tariffs, we estimate to be about $1,000 per family. So we absolutely want to make sure there are fair trading negotiations going on, but we also want to make sure that if you guys are being hit by these tariffs, or if you're in manufacturing, agriculture, other industries that may be impacted, that we can be a resource to you and make sure that we're talking to our federal delegation. So a lot of things that have been moving at the federal level. And so I always like to say that we talk a lot about Frankfurt and Kentucky, but also know that we are your voice in Washington, D.C. as well. So the state of the economy. So every morning you may turn on your TV and you may see the little ticker tape with the stock market saying it's going up, it's going down. What does this all mean? So here in Kentucky, I always say, if I had to kind of quantify what the economy is here in Kentucky, I always like to say it's kind of two words. A little bit hesitant, but also optimistic. So there's good news, and there's kind of some news that we need to watch out for. The good news is that over the last year, Kentucky has fared better economically than almost any other state, the national average. We have done better here in Kentucky than the national average. Well, what's happening right now, and I don't know if you guys are feeling it, I'm looking at my friends at the job shop, you guys are probably feeling it, is that we have what we're calling a slow to hire, slow to fire market right now. Back a couple years ago, there was a lot of people leaving jobs for other opportunities. What we're hearing from employers all across Kentucky is that it's kind of still right now. People are being a little slower to hire, slower to fire. People are just kind of staying kind of where they are. We do know that last year, for the first time in Kentucky's history, we hit over 2 million jobs on record, which is a really good sign. So we at the Chamber have an economist on staff, and we like to make sure that we are keeping up every single month with how the economy is doing in Kentucky. There's there's a lot of moving parts. There's the tariffs, there's other situations that are going on that can impact Kentucky's economy. And so if you go to kychamber.com/economy, I think is the site, you can get up to the date kind of information on how the economy is doing here in Kentucky. And so it's one of those things where right now I think our economy is still going strong. The job market has slowed down over the last 6 to 9 months. We know that just from the numbers coming out, but we still, I think as business leaders, are very optimistic about the state of economy and Kentucky overall. So switching over to Frankfort. So we are kind of halfway through the state legislative session. So this legislative session is what we call a 60-day legislative session. It's a long session, which occurs in even number years. And this means that the legislature will craft a state budget, which really kind of takes up a bulk of the time of the legislators. So we can go to the next one, the state budget. So you may have heard some news. The state budget just passed out of the state house, I believe, last week. So it is now going over to the Senate. And there's been a lot of news about it, a lot of calls about it. What I always like to tell people, if you have any part in the state budget, if you have any kind of line item that you would like, if you have a priority, there is still time. It's not quite panic season yet, but it's inching up towards that. So the state budget, what happens is that it's introduced in the House, it goes through the House process, it is now over in the Senate. The state Senate, so Senator Girdler here in your neck of the woods, will kind of help craft what the Senate wants to do with the budget, and then the Senate and the House will get together and honestly probably in the last couple of days get kind of behind closed doors and hammer out the deals of the state budget. What we do know is that a lot of things have gotten a little bit of a haircut in the House. A lot of people we have talked to have had a 3 to 4% cut, but in the Senate, some of that may flesh out a little bit more. But the budget really is kind of the top priority document of the legislature, and so a lot of air is being consumed right now because of the state budget. But if you have any part in this process, make sure you are now talking to your legislator, talk to us at the chamber, talk to your local chamber about kind of advocating for some of your priorities, because there absolutely is still time to work on the state budget. It is only kind of halfway through this process. So even though we're kind of inching toward the closure of session, there is plenty of time to still advocate for what your needs here in Somerset and Pulaski County. So tax reform. So this has been kind of a topic of conversation the last couple of years. So this is kind of the good news part of everything. Several years ago, we at the Kentucky Chamber of Commerce got together with our board, probably like you guys do here at Somerset. And I think Bobby was at this meeting, and we said, okay, what is our top strategic priority for the Kentucky Chamber of Commerce? And overwhelmingly, our board said, we really need pro-growth, pro-job tax reform. There had been some incremental movements over the last couple of years, but we really needed to make it known that from the Kentucky Chamber perspective and from the business community's perspective, we needed to continue moving toward pro-growth tax reform. And one of the reasons behind this is we know, I've lived in Kentucky my entire life. I know that it is the best place to live, to work, to do business, to raise a family, and we want more people to know that as well. We want more people to come to Kentucky. And so when you look at the census data of which states that have grown and which states that have not grown, it's really not rocket science. The states that have grown, if you think about states like Tennessee, Texas, Florida, others, they have a little or no income tax. They have a very competitive tax system, and businesses look at that when they want to come to when they were looking to come to another state. And so over the last several years, I'm really proud of the General Assembly. They have made strides since 2017. They have lowered our state's income tax from 6% to 3.5%. So hopefully you guys have noticed this. Hopefully you guys have taken some more of that money and it's back in your own pocketbook. You can invest it in your business, invest it in your community, but from moving from 6% to 3.5%. So this was passed several years ago through a bill called House Bill 8, and right now there's kind of triggers. We want to make sure that we're not just jumping from a 6% income tax to a 0% income tax. So there's a pretty specific formula that if things are being met and there's enough money in the budget, there's enough money in the rainy day fund, that the state can lower that income tax 0.5%. This year, we barely missed that trigger to move down to 3%. We thought we were going to be able to move to 3%, and we barely missed it. It was so minute that I don't know if this is actually true, but it's a good illustration that if it had been a leap year with one extra day in the year, we probably would have met that trigger. That's how close it was. So we were not able to probably move down to 3% income tax this year. I do expect us to hit that trigger for next year. So if you think about it, to cut your income tax in half over a pretty short period of time is really good news. And the better news is that those taxes have not been expanded on to businesses, and we haven't had to expand or increase the sales tax. That's the good news. We don't want to lower the income tax, then put a bunch of taxes on businesses, increase our sales tax, and kind of get everything out of whack. So the fact that our economy is still growing, we are still growing our number of jobs, our population is still growing, and we've been able to almost cut our income tax in half and not have to put more taxes on businesses is really good news. So this session, I don't expect right now, they will not probably lower the income tax to 3%. We'll probably have to wait for next year to do that. But the good news is that we're watching every day, and we're really going to try to prevent any new taxes on businesses, and that's what we're looking out for right now. Another issue that I wanted to talk about quickly is childcare. So I have been with the Chamber for almost 14 years, and probably several years ago, we were not talking about childcare. It was not part of kind of the Chamber of Commerce vernacular when you're talking about things going on in the legislative session. What we realized the last couple of years when I would travel around the state and meet with local chambers and meet with local businesses is that childcare is really a workforce issue. We know here in Kentucky that we have workforce issues. We have a very low workforce participation rate, one of the 10 lowest in the whole nation. And there are a lot of reasons for that. There's a lot of barriers. But one of the main barriers that we found is childcare. I have 2 children of my own. I was very fortunate to find good childcare so that my husband and I could both work. But we know that's not the same in all parts of the state. And what we realized is that there are parts of the state that we have that we call childcare deserts, where there simply is just not enough childcare to meet the needs of working family in that community. We also know, for any working parents in here who do use childcare can be very expensive and unaffordable for working families. So it was kind of this conundrum. So over the last couple of years, we worked with some legislators, and we also pulled together 40 different stakeholders from across the state, made up of childcare advocates, business leaders, healthcare leaders, community leaders, and we said, we know this is an issue. What can we do about it? I always say if the Chamber of Commerce, and I speak for the Somerset Chamber and the Kentucky Chamber, if we had one superpower, it's the ability to convene. Just like this room right here, we can pull a lot of people together and try to figure out some complicated issues and move Kentucky forward. So over the last year and a half, we have worked with 40 different stakeholders, and we have now proposed a bill, House Bill 6, that passed out of the House, I think 2 weeks ago, on a broad bipartisan basis that will really move Kentucky forward, we think, in terms of child care. It's going to be able to create micro centers for some of these parts of the state that need additional child care. It'll help child care if you need child care outside of the normal 8 to 5 o'clock hours. Healthcare, manufacturing, others need child care in kind of some of those odder hours. It's also going to make sure that any child care provider here in Kentucky, if you work at a child care center, you can send your child to a child care for free. That was a big stumbling block, as we need good child care workers, and by being able to offer child care for them for free is an added benefit. It's also going to make sure that we can continue on our employer child care assistance program that we were able to help pass legislation for a couple years ago, where if you as an employer want to offer child care benefits to your employee, the state matches that 100%. So it's kind of a multifaceted approach to child care, but I'm really proud of this bill. Representative Samara Hevron, who is a legislator from Litchfield, is kind of the champion behind this, and so we do expect this to be heard in the Senate here pretty soon, and this really is an impediment to workforce. We did a research report last year, I believe. Chris Girdler was kind of helpful with it with our Center for Policy and Research, and we found that between 20 and 30,000 Kentuckians, if they had access to quality child care, affordable child care in their area, could re-enter the workforce. So think about our workforce needs here in Kentucky. If we could add 30,000 people, what a difference that could mean. And so for the Chamber perspective, it really does go back to supporting working families and helping our workforce initiatives. Another issue that we're working on is housing. A couple of years ago, we were probably not talking about housing, but traveling the state, when I would meet with local leaders and local chambers over the last couple of years, they kept saying, we're struggling with housing. We don't have enough housing to meet the needs of Kentuckians and to recruit businesses. It's wonderful, and we all celebrate when we have ribbon cuttings, we have new businesses coming to town, but if we don't have the infrastructure and the housing to support the people that will work there, those businesses are not going to be able to continue to come to Kentucky. And so what we did was we partnered with the home builders of Kentucky and tried to figure out the problem before we implemented and tried to propose a solution. So what we found was that this problem goes back really to the Great Recession. So back in 08, 09, people just stopped building houses. People weren't buying houses. Everything was kind of frozen for a couple of years. Then when the economy took an uptick and things kind of got back on track, we were so far behind. What we know now here in Kentucky is that we are 200,000 units short in terms of housing. Just to meet our current needs and kind of get to where we were pre-recession, we would need an extra 200,000 homes in Kentucky. And this is every level of home. This is from multifamily homes, apartments, to starter homes, all the way up. 200,000 units short. So we have been partnering with the home builders, with the realtors, with the League of Cities, and other partners to really push housing this legislative session. So Senate Bill 9 has gone through the Senate, is now over in the House, and this would really help with some of those kind of upfront infrastructure costs. Any of you all that are kind of on that in that area know that there's a lot before you can build a house. And so it's really kind of helping localities and local economic development groups really make sure that we can get those up and running to build more houses. There's a lot of housing bills coming out of the House. I do kind of think that this probably dozen or so housing bills that have been introduced. At the end of the day, they'll probably all kind of merge and see if there's one or two housing bills. But I will say this really is a key priority for the chamber and a key priority for the legislature. And again, for us, it goes back to economic development. It goes back to workforce. We can only recruit people to Kentucky if we have a place for them to live. And so we need to make sure that housing really is a top priority moving forward here in Somerset and throughout Kentucky. So another bill that we're working on that I'm really excited about, and I don't know if there's anyone from the school board here, but it is Senate Bill 4. So for many years, about 12 years or so now, the Kentucky Chamber, we have a foundation and we do a lot of workforce training and workforce efforts. I'm sure many of you all have worked with our team there, but we have been running what we call the Leadership Institute for School Principals. And so for 12 years, we have been sending Kentucky school principals through executive level training leadership. This started years ago when we realized that principals were really the CEOs of their school. And as business leaders, we wanted to treat them as the CEOs of their schools. And we realized that there really wasn't much professional development for principals to treat them as the professionals that they are. So we, over the last 12 years, have funded about 600 Kentucky school principals to go through our Leadership Institute for School Principals, where it's a year-long executive level training leadership program. We send them to North Carolina for a week, along with the Truist Leadership Institute. They are in cohorts. They get an executive coach. We, at this point, have sent almost 600 Kentucky school principals through this over the last 12 years, 100% paid for by Kentucky businesses. I guarantee there's probably a handful of principals here in Somerset and Pulaski County that have gone through this program. What we have heard through every principal that has gone through this program is that truly is life-changing. And now, because we've been running this program for 12 years, we now know that there is ROI. We now know that the principals that have gone through our Leadership Institute program have higher test scores, they have better teacher retention, they have better morale. We have done several case studies throughout the state of Kentucky, and we now know that this investment is not only good for the principal, it's good for the school, for the district, and ultimately the children of Kentucky, which is obviously the ultimate goal. So we have been running this as a private foundation for the last 12 years, and Senator Steve West heard about this last summer. He is the chairman of the Senate Education Committee, and he goes, what if we could help, and instead of sending 50 principals a year through this program with business funding, what if we could send every school principal through this program? What would that mean for the state of Kentucky and for the future of our children and the future of education? So through this idea that he had, it now turned into Senate Bill 4, which passed unanimously out of the House, or out of the Senate a couple weeks ago, and it's now going to be heard in the House. And this would basically allow every school principal, it'd be a public-private partnership. The Kentucky Chamber of Commerce would still raise money for the principals that we currently raise money for, but the state would match that dollar for dollar and send 100 more principals through this program. So instead of sending 50 principals a year through this program, we think we could send 150. So we're really excited about this program. We're excited that Senator West kind of found that this could be helpful, but I guarantee if you talk to any of your principals in your school district, they will know about this program. I'm sure many of them have gone through it, and hopefully when Senate Bill 4 passes, every school school principal will have the opportunity to do that, and we'll really see some improvements in education in Kentucky. So we're really excited about that program. Another one that I wanted to mention, kind of being a part of an agricultural part of the state, I always say this is probably not the sexiest of topics, especially talk about after a delicious lunch, but it's alternative aviation fuel. So we are a logistics state in Kentucky. You guys know this, you're right off 75. One of the key parts that we have for economic development and for job growth in Kentucky is our location. We're a logistics state. We are home to Amazon and Ford and Toyota and DHL, and that's wonderful. And you guys know that we are within 1 day's drive of 2/3 of the nation's population. And because we're such a logistics hub, our logistics company started talking to us a couple years ago saying, we have UPS here, we have Amazon here, we have DHL here, we have airports. There is a new technology, alternative aviation fuel, where we actually use corn, soybeans, other agricultural products to make fuel. And they're like, Kentucky is prime for this. We're a logistics hub, we're an agriculture hub, and so we're really happy that House Speaker Pro Tem David Mead from around here, I know many of you guys know him, has sponsored this bill for us that would really incentivize farmers and logistics company into using this alternative aviation fuel. So I always say, it's not the sexiest of topics, I know, but for economic development, for agriculture, I think it's a really important step forward, and we're really grateful for Representative Mead for championing this issue for us. So that is just kind of a quick kind of snapshot of what's going on. Yesterday was the last day to file bills in the state Senate. I think tomorrow is the last day to file bills in the state House. At the end of the day, there will be well over 2,000 pieces of legislation that are introduced, and we are watching all of these for you all. So I always like to say, if you have any questions, if you see something in your newspaper, if you turn on the TV and you hear something that's going through the legislature, let us know. We can we don't have the information, we will find the information, but we definitely want to be your eyes, your ears, and your voice in Frankfort. And I wanted to give you guys just a little bit of a snapshot of what we are working on. And now I'm going to make one request before I give the microphone back over. And I promise I will not think it rude if you guys all pull out your phone right now. So I told you guys we're working on housing and childcare. From the chamber perspective, we really think housing and childcare are really important to not only our business community, but our working families. And so we have created a campaign called Opportunity Starts Here, knowing that housing and childcare is really key to opportunity and the American dream here in Kentucky. And so we are just asking business leaders, community leaders all across the state, if you believe that childcare and housing are important and you would like to see these pieces of legislation go through this legislative session, to scan this QR code, and all it does is send it will put your contact in, and we can show the legislators. It's not going to spam your legislators. You're not going to get a phone number you have to call or anything like that. We just like to show legislators the broad support that we have for these two issues to make sure that they're prevalent and an important part of this legislative session. And so if you feel like childcare and housing are important here in Somerset and Pulaski County, scan that QR code, add your name to the list, and we would really appreciate it. But thank you all so much for having me. It is always a pleasure to be here. I will be around afterward if there's any question. And please always feel like you guys can call us. We want to make sure that we are representing you all in Frankfort and Washington, D.C. And so please, as this next couple of weeks of the legislative session goes through, if there's any questions, concerns, comments, please let us know. We'd be happy to hear from you. And again, thank you all so much for being here. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Well, Ashley, thank you so much. I wanted to present you with a little gift from our chamber for driving down here. Now, you've got to drive back, so you can't have any of this yet. This is from our Business in a Bottle series that we started a few years ago. Obviously, we're using Horse Soldier bourbon. They're expected to open up here on July 4th of this year. Wow. Very exciting, so just wanted to present this to you and say thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you all. Thank you.
Can you get a picture right here? No, still.
Thank you.
All right. If you all will, if you will get out your ticket stub from the lunch today. We're going to go through and give out some door prizes today. And as you're looking for that, I'd like to put in a plug for next lunch. Next luncheon is coming up on Tuesday, April 7th. It will be my boss, Dr. Carrie Castle, presenting that day. So I encourage you all to be here to hear Dr. Castle talk about what we got, all the good things we have going on at Somerset Community College. And also on the top of your agenda that you all have on your table, I'll call your attention to 4 ribbon cuttings that are coming up. We'd love to have you at those if you're available, so please come out. So our first door prize for today is provided by Hendrickson. It's Baxter's Coffee gift basket valued at $200. So winning ticket is 112345. 112345. Right over here. Second gift is our second gift is donated by the Job Shop, and it is a $100 Longhorn gift card. Ticket number 112318. 112318. Way back. Next up, sponsored by the Center, we've got 2 tickets to Rhonda Vincent and The Rage. Ticket number 420900. Back there, back table 2. We got it? All right. Next is donated by Midland Farms, a $25 Midland Farms gift card. Ticket number is 112284. There in the front row. And finally, another donated by Midland Farms, $25 Midland Farms gift card will go to 112217. 112217. Right back there. I'm going to. Yep. Thank you. And also, we would like to thank Midland Farms for providing water bottles on the table today. Thank you all very much for doing that. And as we close, I would like to ask, where is Reese? Reese Shook. Reese Shook is one of our board members. She's also leads our Young Entrepreneurs Academy, and she's going to lead us in the pledge. And after the pledge, we will be adjourned. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Thank you all.